Hi everyone, my name is Heather Smith. I will be discussing animal abuse and training today. I hope I let you in on some of the situations our fuzzy friends find themselves in. So, every 60 seconds or a minute, another animal is abused. And 10 million animals have died in a year in the US alone, which is staggering and that should not be the case, but sadly it is. I hope that this tells you of the senseless torture and misery some of our friends go through. But in order to save them, you need to know how to recognize abuse and what it is. So what is abuse? Animal abuse is neglect and pain and inflicting suffering, pain, even death on an animal. Animal cruelty is also an illegal act in the United States. The punishment varies for animal cruelty from a misdemeanor to a felony, but it depends on the jurisdiction you are currently living in. It's also important to remember that our pets are social creatures, and they can feel happiness and sadness, joy and misery, and a lot of people tend to forget that as well. So how do you recognize abuse? There are several ways to recognize abuse because abuse takes on many different forms. There is physical non-accidental injuries, sexual abuse, neglect, emotional abuse, and a lot of other ones as well. And with those comes different reactions from the animal. Some ways to recognize this is if the animal's in poor physical condition, overly aggressive, overly submissive, just poor sanitization in the house, such as feces and urine in the house, which is gross. Exposure to extreme weather without a proper shelter. Insufficient space, lighting, or ventilation for any number of animals. Cruel confinement, lack of necessary medical supplies, tight collars and harnesses, even dead animals on the property are all signs that animal abuse is occurring on the property. The more common animals to be abused are dogs, cats, and livestock. And there are two main forms of animal abuse. The first one is individual abuse, which is where the owner or owners abuse the dog or cat or animal, whatever it is. And then there's organized abuse, which is where dog fighting and cockfighting are categorized, which are horrible practices. So what training techniques are out there that don't fall even close to being abuse? I highly recommend positive reinforcement training, getting a trainer if you don't know what you're doing, and researching what you want to do, like how to train, different training techniques, all of this sort of info before you even consider getting a fuzzy friend, so that you know what to expect or what your game plan is if you're going for a trainer. There is another form of training, but that lies dangerously close to abuse and can easily cross that line, which is punishment training. Punishment training is pretty much where if the dog does something bad, they are punished, versus positive reinforcement, which ignores the bad and rewards the good. This is the conclusion of my speech. I hope you learned something today. You should know what animal abuse is, how to recognize it, and some different training techniques and some general information. I hope you help a fuzzy friend in need, as well as just talking to people. Bye.